Sentry Limited in its current guise has been trading for now 16 years. We started from a successful management buyout in 1999.
Sentry are farming in excess of 45,000 acres, of which 20,000 is contract farming agreements, 20,000 is management agreements, and 5,000 acres is farm business tenancies. The main benefit of the contract farming agreement is it gives the landowner a greater control over his own farm business, decisions like the cropping, and it demonstrates clearly that they're taking an active role in farming.
Under a contract farming agreement, you can offset more costs against your profit, and therefore you can pay less tax.
Our size allows me to go to our suppliers and put together a big order, which, to be frank, all of our suppliers like volume. So by giving them a volume which will be substantial, they will usually offer us a more competitive price, which we can then pass on to our clients. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Our strength is in our team. With our number of acres, it gives Richard enhanced purchasing power to actually put together a really good deal to benefit not just us but also clients as well. In addition to the acreage we farm, we actually advise on 45,000 acres, and these can be associate members who buy into the Sentry brand to get enhanced purchasing power and also discounts on major machines. They also are entitled to 8 hours of free professional services, whether that's a land agency for valuation or an accountant to do a budget and cash flow, or a farm business advisor as well.
The associate membership scheme's been growing steadily for several years now. There's a base of around 50 members who pay an annual subscription and share in all the benefits of the Sentry's buying power and expertise.
We have a large take-up of clients on environmental schemes. I'd say roughly about 95% of our farms have taken on some environmental schemes.
We're all faced with squeezed margins. In actual fact, on some of our crops, there is not a margin. So to continue doing exactly as we've done before really isn't an option. So we've got to look at all the different parts that make up our operations, and I think we have to look very hard at the way we establish crops, because at that part of our cropping program we are spending huge amounts of money, and there are some really innovative drills out there and different cultivation techniques which we have to look at to try and make sure that as a business we are at the forefront of technology and of cost saving.
Some of these techniques and the cultural and rotational controls are increasing yields of crops, and increasingly the solutions don't come out of a can anymore. And blackgrass is a great example of the fact where the chemical controls have just declined over time to the point where that is not a single solution anymore. Rotational and cultural controls are very much the future. So our research and our management effort is going into that area to try and raise margins and produce the best crops.
And I think added on from that, John, I mean, one of the things that we're looking at quite hard as a company are the use of cover crops, which are absorbing nitrogen during the winter, which is not lost into the watercourse. It's there for the crop, which is then grown in the spring, and also it's reducing our reliance on chemicals out of the can. I think in certain instances, certain cover crops are retaining the nitrogen and allowing us to actually use the nitrogen that crop has absorbed from the ground, and yes, in certain instances we might actually be able to reduce the bagged nitrogen that we're applying to crops.
And we're looking after the soil not just for today but for tomorrow, to ensure those nutrients remain in the soil for future generations.
And that's a view that Sentry has, and as a company we want to be farming the same farms in 10, 20, 30 years. We're not just here for a short-term game. We want to be farming these farms with our next young team of managers coming through.